Hi, good day, good night, good evening, depending on what time you happen to be watching this. Welcome to another episode of House of Stars. I'm your girl Star, and today, as you can see from the title of the video, I am doing a reading actually on two different couples. I feel like they've been talked about in the news, and one person or one of the couples I'm going to talk about, I constantly get harassed about. But hey, I thought maybe, this time around I actually would do a reading. So I am doing a reading on Janet Jackson and her husband, or soon-to-be ex-husband, Wissam Almana, and Karreuche Tran and Chris Brown, and the update with the drama with them. So, okay, so I am right now here. And I'm going to start these readings. I am trying to get my boob situation under control. It looks weird. Do not judge me, but this is YouTube. This is what people do. So I guess I am going to get judged. So I'm going to move into seeing the first couple I'm going to talk about is Janet Jackson and this was Sam, her husband, and see what's going on around that and what's to happen and actually where the relationship went wrong. Because, of course, I know a lot of people have seen that she had a prenuptial agreement that if she were to stay married for 5 years, that she would actually receive $500 million for a settlement. Actually, and I'm probably not using the right term settlement, but whatever the hell the thing is. She actually stayed in her relationship for 5 years and 2 months. Like, when I heard that $500 million, I was like, yes. But I was like, damn, like, that's dumb money. That is stupid money. And like, Janet Jackson, she's youthful, she's nice, but like, it would be a blessing if she were to see 40 more years. You know what I mean? She is getting up there now. So I am just going to start into that reading right now. Let me just tap into her energies. I'm just going to cleanse the energies right now and see what I see. Just give me a second. All right. So I have Janet Jackson, and she's born May 16th, 1966. So she's born under the sun sign of Taurus. So let's see what's around Janet Jackson. Where's her picture? There we go. Okay, Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson, when I see her, I feel like she has a depressive side to her. Okay, like I feel like it's like, I don't know exactly what has happened to her, but it's like she carries this sadness within herself. You know what I mean? It's like, even though she's happy, she can never allow herself to fully be happy. And I would imagine that, of course, there's a lot of things that have happened. She was a childhood star as well. But she actually carries a lot of scars, even more than she even realizes. And this is funny because I saw, you probably can go through 3 or 4 of my videos and see that happens a lot with celebrities. And now that I think about it, sometimes when it comes to being an artist, it's like you kind of keep your wounds fresh and open. That way it gives you the ability, I guess, to create, or give you the ability to be open and free in what you do. But I feel like she still carries hurt and pain. It's like she's never really a settled person. She's actually very much of a worrywart. That's what I do get from her. But at the same time, in the same hand of her being a worrywart, she's very much a doer. So she likes to get things done. She's definitely organized, and she likes to keep herself occupied. She's definitely not a person who likes to keep her time too idle, because as it gives her too much time to think. But for the most part, I feel like she's more or less into herself. But when it comes to people, and if people come to her for advice, she's very easygoing and very understanding in giving advice, and she gives it efficiently and loving. But at the same time, I feel like she's more a person that stays within her own regard when it comes to the things that she does. I also feel she has a sense of intuition with her as well. Like she's a pretty good judge of character. She has a way of getting out the truth out of people very easily. She just has a way where she could see right through you. So she's very intuitive and she's very empathic as a person. So what I do see about her, especially when it comes to this whole situation, overall, when it comes to this marriage, I actually felt like she did step into this marriage with good intentions. I don't feel like she stepped in it for a motive. Like, I feel like anybody else, she's a person, she does love money, but at the same time, like, okay, he is a billionaire. 500 million is a lot more than she's worth. It's like 5 times what she's worth and what she's made in her whole entire career in assets. But at the end of the day, she wasn't struggling, and she wouldn't have mind if she stayed where she was either way. I think that for the most part, she likes nice things, but she lives her life pretty simple. So I'm not feeling that it's most likely, you know, she did not walk into this relationship without the intention of love to come with it. I have a picture. Okay, so now I see a picture of them both. Actually, you know what? Let me go into Wissam first, because I should do them separately and then go into them. Okay, so Wissam. Okay, I can see, like, when it comes to this relationship now, at the same time, when it comes to Janet, like, I feel like she's a person that usually she finds herself dating men that are younger. I feel like even though she is older, at the same time, her soul path is maybe about 20 years younger or 15 years younger, where she is in her soul path. So that's the reason why I feel like she attracts more younger men. I do feel like when it comes to the man that she was married to, especially with Wissam, I feel like even though Wissam appears as a straight man, I do feel like there's parts of him that is not 100% straight. Now, I know this is very hard for me to disclaim this. I'm probably taking a big risk in actually claiming this about this man. But I do feel like there is aspects of him where it's like, you know, he is a very big Middle Eastern billionaire. Usually, you know, I believe he comes from Muslim descent. So usually in that arena, and especially where they are in that environment, it's not necessarily that open or easy for you to come out and say that you like men. But I do feel like he does like women, though. So I wouldn't claim him as bisexual, but I do really feel like this is a man that fully likes women. And to be honest, I feel like Janet knows this. Okay, so I feel like that's what causes issues in this relationship. Don't get me wrong. I feel like what brought them together is much more than what meets the eye. So meaning much more than their sexual status, or much more than what societal or structural what people think. I think it was more or less energetically that how they met and where they bonded at that moment. That's what really worked for them both. Actually, what I do see here with Wissam, he's actually born under the sun sign of Capricorn, and she's a Taurus. So naturally, Tauruses and Capricorns are very compatible signs. So I feel like they're very compatible. I think the thing is with this relationship is, when it comes to Wissam, I feel like Wissam had ways to him where I feel like he would either party or he dabbled a little bit in certain abuses. I wouldn't say like he's like a full-out drug addict, but he would like to drink. But at the same time, I feel like there's a lot of times in the relationship that Janet felt like she was alone. I feel like the first 2 to 3 years of the relationship was not that bad, but anytime after that, that's when it kind of started to disintegrate, where it's like you kind of had to take out the rose-colored glasses and see everything for what it is. To be honest, when it comes to the agreement, I get the sense that with Sam is actually okay with how everything went. I feel like it's almost like he feels like he owes it to her, especially for what they've been through. In the relationship itself, I don't see like there's anything major like that happened. A lot of the stuff is emotional. I feel like if there was any abuse, it probably was verbal, you know what I mean? Mental and emotional, which is sometimes even worse than getting a slap to the face. But I feel like there was a lot of emotions in this relationship that caused it to spiral out of control. But I do feel like when it comes to Wissam, the kind of person that he is, he's naturally not a person that can stay with anyone for a long time. He likes change. He's definitely very wealthy. So at the end of the day, it's not like he can't afford to have make long-term decisions with somebody, like have a marriage and then get divorced. So for him, it was like, you know what, it's like the relationship ran its course. With Janet, though, I do feel like I get a sense of loneliness when it comes to the whole situation. So even though she's happy it's over, at the end of the day, she has a sense of loneliness where it's almost like she does want to be alone and not really want to be with anyone after this. Like I feel like how she is right now, if she were to live the rest of her days just raising her son and just being a full-time mother and not dating anyone, she'd be fine with that. But to be honest, I don't think that's going to end up happening. She actually is going to meet somebody else. I feel like she's actually used, for the most part, she's used to dating men that are younger. She's actually going to end up with somebody that's older. And it's not really anyone that's her type. Not really anybody that's within her realm within her social realm, or even their way of thinking. Just the realm in general is just totally different. But I feel like whatever it is, it's like her and this person are going to work very well together. With Sam, I swear, if I'm wrong, I'll take it. Listen, if I'm wrong, man, okay, I probably won't do this, but I'll shut down House of Stars, the YouTube channel. But I really don't think he's straight. I don't get that from him. And it's not how he looks. Because, you know, most men, especially wealthy men and men from that side of the world, whether it's like Middle Eastern or European men, they usually have a very metrosexual way of styling, or, you know, more flamboyant way of dressing, and how they carry themselves. But I don't get that. Like, I just don't feel... I feel like he's bisexual. Like, I feel like he likes women. He desires a relationship with women, but he enjoys his moments with men. You know what I mean? So that's what I do see for them both. So I do feel like she's gonna get her money, but there's gonna be some hitch with the money. So I don't know if it's like she is gonna get a little bit less or something, or it's gonna be something that has to go through the mill where she loses a bit, but at the same time she is gonna get something out of it. I do feel like there's a move. So I don't know if she's living in Qatar right now, but wherever it is, she's gonna move somewhere else. But I'm not sure if she's coming back to North America or she already lives in North America. But it's like I see like her living here, and it's like she's going over here. So she's moving to another side. But I do feel like I think she is going to, after the whole situation, she is going to go back on a tour. I actually get a sense as well that she is going to be honored in some way. So I'm not sure where that's coming from, but that's something that's coming up for her within the next year or so, if I'm not mistaken, that she will be honored in some way. I do feel like actually there is thoughts of another child. I do see that coming up for her as well. Whether it be that she actually conceives a child herself, surrogate, or has a kid, I don't know. But I do feel like there's the energy of child again around her, or the idea that is swirling around her again. She's going to do an interview. And it's strange because it's like I don't feel like it's been a while since we've kind of heard from her. But I feel like she's going to do an interview. I get the sense that she may touch a little bit on it, but I don't get the sense that she's really going to be that open, because I don't think she's the kind of person that's okay with being that open about her personal life. But I do get the sense that it's kind of like an interview that kind of brings the energy of like catching up with her and seeing what is going on with her. But I'm not sure how direct she's going to be with the things that they ask, because she's just not a person that is comfortable about talking about certain things. I do get like at the same time, she is honest about what happened between her and Wissam, but in the same breath, she has a hard time of really running him down. Like, she has a hard time really talking ill of him. You know what I mean? She really censors in that way because, like I said before, I do feel like the starting of the relationship had a very strong authenticity to it. So, you know, he was either there for her or she was there for him, but she remembers that much. She knows that the foundation was laid out pretty solid. But I do just feel like when it comes to Wissam, he's just a kind of person, he can only hold interest for so long. And then when it comes to Janet, she has the same trait as him, but the same thing with her is like she can only put up with so much for so long. So yeah, that's what I do see about them. If you have any questions or concerns about Janet Jackson and Wissam Almana, just make sure you put it in the comment box and I'll try to answer it as soon as possible. Okay, so let's move into Karreuche, Tran, and Chris Brown. If you guys follow me on House of Stars, I did put up a video what I saw about Chris Brown. Actually, it was liked by Christina Milian. So, and as far as I'm concerned, I believe Christina Milian is a friend of Karreuche's. So that was really exciting because it was kind of like she really co-signed what I said, because of course she's seen, she obviously seen everything what's happening firsthand. I actually, if anyone wanted to see any videos of Karreuche Tran and Chris Brown, you can always check my old videos or my archives of videos I did on them. It's very sad, this relationship and how it went, because to be honest, when it comes to, oh God, how do I say this? I'm going to sound terrible. How Chris Brown has treated her was not nice. And I feel like Chris Brown really meant well. But at the same time, she's such an easy target for him because she puts up with so much. She could be so passive. And because she is so passive, some people, when they are very passive, especially being around a very emotional and sometimes emotionally volatile personality like Chris Brown's, you just get the shit out of the stick. And it's just the way it is. So what do I see about them? Okay, so first things first, I do feel like when it came to Chris Brown and Karreuche, I do feel like even though to the public eye they broke up, their communication did last much longer after that. I would say a year and a half or so. I just got a year and a half. So I'm not sure there's actual calculation of how much, but it was like a year and a half. I do feel like I felt like when she was done, she was done. She really wanted to move on, but there was a part of her where she couldn't because she did have some fear of Chris, and there was a part of her that really wanted to see him get help. You know what I mean? But she knew that she had to move on. She knew she had to do better for herself, and that's what she's been doing. When it comes to Chris Brown, it's like, with him, it's like, he knows he's done her wrong, and at the same time, he knows he owes her a lot more than what he's given her. But it's like, he has a Jekyll and Hyde side to him. And as I mentioned before, this is not to judge Chris Brown in any way, because of course he does have his issues and his reasonings for it, but Chris Brown is a drug user, and it's through and through. And at the end of the day, being a drug user is like, even though he knows within his mind what he's doing, or he has an understanding of what he's doing wrong, it's like almost like he has no control over himself to stop himself from what he does or he says. So it's like the only person, female or whoever, that would understand him, especially when he would have those outbursts or allow him to have those moments where he would spiral, was her. And that's the reason why it's like, in the same breath, he would want her and try to hold on to her and be like, she's mine. But when she would be ready to leave, kind of be like, fuck you, bitch. Like, you're just like the rest of them. Okay. So I feel like she got in a relationship with Quavo of Migos, which I think that it's good. It's like, I think it's a pretty decent casual relationship for the most part. I'm getting the sense that I'm not really feeling anything serious coming off of either one of them at this moment. I get the sense that they're just kind of hanging out and seeing how things go. I actually feel like they've kind of known each other or been affiliated with each other or been around each other a lot longer than they have, than as shown in the public eye. I don't know if it's like a connection of some sort, but I get the sense that there's some familiarity there, before they actually dated. I don't know if maybe they met a couple times before, or I don't know, but it doesn't feel like 100% like new. When it comes to Chris Brown's reaction to it, I get the sense that Chris Brown's gonna always have a smug attitude about whoever she dates until Chris Brown actually allows himself to really move on and find love. But I get the sense that, you know, really and truly, he's not going to really find true love until he actually deals with his issues, his substance abuse issues, or his emotional issues that he has. He is a fairly smart guy. He's not stupid. He knows what he's doing. He just can't help himself. Like, and again, like I believe I mentioned this in the last video. Like, he just doesn't have trustworthy people around him, or at least, like, you know, the energy of that is like how he feels. So it's like he's constantly always defending himself. And to be honest, like, you know, the world has perceived him as being this abusive, like, out of control, like, non-balanced, like, not balanced person. So, you know, he is a Taurus, and that causes him to be very defensive because he feels like he's constantly under scrutiny. Even though, like, to be honest, a lot of people, mostly, even though people scrutinize him, media has been still forgiving because he makes hit after hit, and no matter what, still sells records. He still carries that because it's like, he is deep down inside, like, it's like his exterior runs like cement, but through him he just runs deep and, like, flowing like a river. Like, he really is that sensitive and emotional inside. So what I see with him and Karreuche, and I just think Karreuche just wants to get the toxicity away from her life. Like, he really drains her. Like, like, even after all the bullshit he's done and what he does, like, there is still a part of her that still actually cares about his well-being. Like, she actually wants to see him prosper. She actually wants to see him do good. She's actually, I would say for the most part, she's forgiven him. But, like, it's so exhausting for her, the things that he does and the things that he says. Like, I feel like Chris Brown's mouth is nasty. He has a nasty mouth. Like, I feel like when he talks to one, like, when he talks to you and he gets in his feelings, like, we've seen that obviously on Instagram and stuff like that. But I feel like he's worse. Like, I feel like he's the kind of person, like, when he says something to you, he cuts deep. You know what I mean? And it's bullying. It's abuse. You know what I mean? He abuses her, you know? And it's like she can only take so much anymore. So I think down the road, I feel like I think Chris Brown needs love. Like, if he ever finds true love, I think he's at the time in his life where he's a little bit more receptive to it. If he finds, like, true love and being in an actual relationship, you will see Chris Brown do a 180, and, like, you will see him for his truest essence. But at the same time, it goes back to public scrutiny, where media could be fucking cruel, where media could turn around and see him with a woman and be like, damn, Chris probably abusing her now. Oh, Chris, you know what I mean? He thinks about these things. He cares about what people think. I wish he cared a little bit less, but damn, like, a lot of the judgments and the things that stand around him don't really go away. But I think that's the best that could happen for him. And in the future, I feel like if they tried, I don't think she's going to ever really want to allow herself to be really that close to him. But I think no matter what, within herself and in her spirit, she is still sending out energy of light and guidance and for things to be good. She just wants to be left alone, Chris. She just wants to be left alone, and Chris wants to let her go too, but he just can't because he knows he fucked up. And it's like, there's nothing worse than having somebody walk away from you because it was your fault. But instead of him, you know, either wallowing in sorrow, which I think he has at one point, and just letting go, is like, it's just like his best bet, and what's more comfortable for him is to attack her. So yeah, that's what I see. That's my reading on Janet Jackson, Wissam Almana, Karreuche Tran, and Chris Brown. If you would like to get a reading with me, you could always hit me up on my House of Stars email or on the House of Stars page. Keep in mind, if you want to, you can follow me. Actually, don't want to. Follow me on my House of Stars Instagram, which I will put the link in the description box. You can like my page on Facebook and follow me on Twitter. Yes. And it is the long weekend. I want to say happy Easter to you guys all. And I do want to thank you so much for your time and rocking with me. May God bless you and the angels protect you. Good night.